right, from the First Congregational Church in Rochester. And I heard him and I said, what did he say? And I thought to myself, what a self-loathing, pathetic piece of human garbage this guy. And I'm sorry that he's a reverend, because you know what? You shouldn't be. If you hate yourself that much, you should not be talking to other people and trying to help them, because you need some help yourself, pal. Derek, do you have that track available? I just listen to this guy for a minute, and I want people to understand it's not right. Go ahead, play it.
2-year-old Heather Heyer was killed and several others were seriously injured.
I stand here in opposition to our president's words this past week to the white supremacists that showed up in Charlottesville. I stand here acknowledging my own white privilege and that resource that has helped me become who I am today. I stand here acknowledging the systemic racism is embedded in our laws in the United States of America, and these must be dismantled.
Right. Number one, read the Constitution, you douchebag. And if you want to come on this show, Mr. Reverend Greg Larson, come in here and sit with me, and I've got a story to tell you right now, sir. Don't talk to me about my white privilege. I'm tired of people saying you're white, you don't understand, Gary. You know what? I'm going to tell 2 stories now, and I don't think I've ever told these maybe to a handful of people.
Tell
right?
me, Grandpa. Tell me.
Thank you for the humor to calm me down.
Sorry.
Went to Western Michigan University, getting near graduation, and they set us up nicely enough with interviews. And from the time I was a child, my father would drive us past the glass house in Dearborn and make us say, "Bread and butter, kids, bread and butter." We'd chant bread and butter. I wanted to do nothing but work a long, peaceful life at Ford Motor Company. That was my dream as a kid.
My dad did, yeah.
Getting a business degree in college, I was too stupid or too lazy to get an engineering degree like I should have. I went business, right? But so I get an interview with Ford Parts and Service, right? Have a stellar interview. Ends up that the guy I'm talking to knows my brother-in-law who already worked at Ford Parts and Service. At the end of the interview, he goes, "Gary, great interview. We'll be in touch. We're going to let you know next week." Get a call next week. "Yeah, Gary, we had a great interview. Wish we could bring you in, but we're under some EEOC requirements. And so they're asking us to hire minorities and women."
Affirmative action.
Right? Part of affirmative action. Well, little miffed. It was really the first time that I'd experienced, and I was like, oh, that kind of sucks, right? So
somebody's black privilege.
Well, it certainly wasn't white privilege that denied me that job, right? So
we're not racist here. We're not racist.
No, let me finish this.
Yeah.
So a girl that I'm in school with, did many projects with, she goes, "Oh, I got the second interview. They're flying us down to Atlanta to do a weekend role-playing training, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Good for you, man. That's awesome. I'm happy for you." Following week, she comes back, and I'm like, "Hey, how'd the interview? Did you get the job?" "Nah, I just went down, and I partied all weekend. I didn't even go to the trainings or anything else." And I was like, what the? Thanks for your privilege as a woman using your minority status and throwing that opportunity out the window.
Yeah.
You know, I sent some nasty letters to, probably why they never hired me after that either. I sent some nasty letters to Ford Motor Company thinking, you know, that's bull. I deserve a second interview because, number one, I worked for it. Number two, I had the great interview. And number three, I wasn't going to waste it like this person did, right? Yeah. And so that was discrimination against me being white. So don't say, I don't know what it's like to be discriminated against, right?
Yep.
Story one. Story number two. I'm working nonprofit, and I apply for another nonprofit job as a family investment center director for a city somewhere here in Metro Detroit. HUD funded, right? And this nonprofit said, you know, "We saw your resume that you applied for. Why don't you come in and we'll talk to you?" And I sat with the CEO, had a great interview. She goes, "Gary, I'd love to give you this job. You're perfect for it. But unfortunately, we need an African American because this public housing director and the staff there, they require that the person be of color." And so second time now, I'm a little miffed. Great job, wanted the job. She goes, "But I've got another job in the same facility for you. I'm going to give you that job." Great. So I took the job. Come to find out, the guy that got the director job, who was a person of color, ended up being one of these guys. He was helping the girls, scamming food stamps for cash, helping them do things, taking favors of the intimate kind with the ladies. They ended up getting rid of him, right? And they said, yeah, Gary, can you take his responsibilities on and do both jobs? I said, sure. And they started looking for another African-American for the job. And after about 6 months, and my improvement was huge, right? They're very happy with me. I said, why can't I have the job permanent instead of being the interim? I'm doing the job. I'm doing fantastic. They said, well, you'll have to interview for it. I'm like, okay, I'll interview for it. I interviewed, and they gave it to me. And for the next year, I did a fabulous job until somebody complained, and they said, that Gary, we can't really have a white guy in this position in this community.
It looks bad. It looks like he's using his white privilege.
Yeah, and so things came apart. Gary had to leave, and away we went. So twice in my life, I have been discriminated against because of the color of my skin and because I'm a male. So I don't want to hear anybody say, you white people and your white privilege. Screw that.
Now, I want to make something perfectly clear here. That although those issues, those incidents occurred and definitely affected your life in a manner that's probably somewhat negative, I mean, you lost employment, has that embittered you towards people of color?
No.
I didn't think so.
No,
that's not the Gary I know.
Because you know what? I judge people by what they say and what they do.
Right.
Now, my joke line is I hate everybody equally until they prove otherwise, right? Show me that you're honest, that you're capable, and that it's the character that matters. So I am colorblind when it comes to business, period. I don't care who you are.
I just want to make that perfectly clear. You told a story that could be misconstrued, and I don't think it should be.
No, the whole point of that story is I have been discriminated. Don't talk to me about my white privilege. My white privilege has gotten me nowhere.
When I was in the Air Force years ago, we had to do racial classes. I forget, the race equality classes. We had to have all this racial sensitivity training. And this is back in the 70s. And I remember a friend of mine, another sergeant, he went in there, Rick Dalton, and he came out and he says, what about the insensitivity towards my race, the discrimination my people have faced? I said, well, huh? He says, yeah, I'm black Irish. You remember the signs? No Irish need apply? And interestingly enough, his kind of Irish were actually referred to as black Irish. I wasn't aware of that term. They faced a lot of discrimination in this country.
All right, so hold on. So I think I'm about to learn something new today. A third thing yet today. Black Irish means what?
It is a certain kind of Irish that came over.
They weren't black.
They weren't black. Now, he's not black in any sense, but these people faced a lot of discrimination.
I never knew that. I thought black Irish meant there had been some black people who moved to Ireland and that they were black Irish. Yes, look at me. I'm learning today.
Well,
okay. Well, folks, I'm sorry if Gary got a little heated today.
I'm not.
But I want you to go to thedailydrift.com, open your eyes, open your mind, and stop believing all the mainstream media crap. It's
the Soviet-style media.
Propaganda, yes. Until then, go to thedailydrift.com. We'll see you next week.
See ya.